All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this morning's CA Mainframe Storage Community webcast. My name is Len Thompson, excuse me, and I'm the Community Manager for the Mainframe Storage Community, as well as our other mainframe communities here at CA. Today's webcast, we're going to focus on the CA Vantage Storage Resource Manager version 14. Before I hand you off to the Vantage team, just a quick reminder that if you have questions along the way, please use the Q&A box right in the WebEx. If you do not see that box in the lower right of your screen right now, just click on the question mark icon in the upper right, and it will open up for you. And with that, I will hand you off to Stefan from the Mainframe marketing team. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Len. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys happen to be in the world today. Before we get going here, I just want to put a shout out to Len for being such a great manager of the communities for CA. It's such a great service that he provides. There's a ton of great communities out there, and a little bit later we'll be able to tell you how to join those communities, especially the one for storage. The more activity that we have out there, the more that we can interact with you, our customers, you know, and further the products along. So again, a great shout out to Len. Thanks for all that you do out there. I am joined today by two of my colleagues in product management. JD Becnel is the Senior Director for the Product Management here at CA, and he is one of the specialists that work with the storage products, and also the Laborio Garcia Chaparro, who is the product owner for Vantage. So if you have any questions throughout this presentation, please, like Len was saying, we want to hear from you, so ask those questions. My role here is I'm a senior advisor for the Mainframe business unit, and my specialty happens to be storage, databases, and DB2 management. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking more about the latest release of CA Vantage Storage Resource Manager, highlighting some of the major changes, how to use them, and hopefully that will give you some ideas what's new and why you should go ahead and upgrade from the older releases up to version 14, which is now available. So up front, I'm just going to talk real brief, a couple of minutes here about what is the Vantage strategy. I will show you through an assessment, a no-cost assessment that we are providing with Vantage, how we can uncover business value. We've got a great business case, a use case that I'd like to show to you. Then I'll turn it over to JD. He'll talk about what's new, show you some of the use cases, and of course we'll have a summary and then Q&A towards the end. And again, you know, ask those questions as we go along. So the Vantage strategy here, really, you know, the storage management products overall from CA are designed to help maintain a high level of data availability and protection of your storage across the enterprise, right? So our solutions support the industry's broadest range of storage platforms, including IBM, EMC, Hitachi, Oracle, you know, former Storage Tech. I mean, really, if you think about it, we're the center point here of storage operations within a data center. We'd like to, you know, the goodness here is that we work with everybody. And, you know, if you want to look at it, it's like the Switzerland of storage. The difference here is a couple of things, really, is we want to go ahead and help you leverage your existing storage investments, right? Manage more storage vendors using a consistent interface and an automation system without having to learn multiple niche utilities. Certainly, you know, if you're a manager or director out there listening to this, you know, the product is there to help shrink the CAPEX spend around acquiring and managing physical storage. I mean, really, you know, it's a software solution that is meant to help you leverage more of your storage rather than getting into Tape of the Month Club or DASD of the Month Club, right? And it also helps with the OpEx costs by automating the management of multiple vendors' storage hardware that's out there. Vantage does exploit zip, if you didn't know that, to help offload some of the MSU cycles that are out there. And, you know, the value, if I were to look at it, is kind of twofold, either if you're for an ops manager or for the admin that's out there, right? Ops managers are concerned about keeping production running. Storage admins, I mean, you know, from the day that you first took that tape ring out of those round tapes and started playing golf, right? Your job back then and today is still to how can I fully manage all of my storage and make good use of it. I don't care if it's DASD, I don't care if it's tape, if it's anybody else's storage. You need a way of being able to manage across the enterprise out there, and that's what the Vantage solution will provide to you. If you're a storage admin, of course, you want to optimize all of the storage that you have out there and maximize the usage. You want to be told in advance or be able to predict when storage out of space conditions may occur. So there's alert management, setting thresholds, and the ability to view that out there. And then, of course, using the forecasting and trend. And then from an ops manager perspective, obviously, to reduce the outages. Don't get those B37, E37 add-ins. The main thing here is to help decrease the costs. I don't know of one director, VP, SVP, EVP that hasn't said the number one concern they have out there is how to contain the costs for their storage. So that still is a big concern. And then, of course, multi-vendor management, like I had mentioned earlier. If you want to take a look, uncovering the business value, this is the case study that I was talking about. This is an anonymous company. This is a real company. It is a large North American-based financial institution, and they had several problems. And they came to us asking to see, you know, what can be done, where can we help them. And their situation here is, you know, they had multiple niche products. They had limited visibility into the system. They still were relying on manual methods. And, you know, talking with recent analysts, that seems to be the problem. We haven't, you know, all this new technology, but people are still doing storage management the old way. They're using older products. They're using manual methods or homegrown solutions that are out there. The main thing here is that it's very limited visibility. They don't have the cross-enterprise visibility. Obviously, another situation for this company was, you know, exposure to budgeting and cost allocations. They were always running out of budget. They had staffing constraints. I'm not saying that this particular company had people retiring, but there was a knowledge drain, right? So, you know, they didn't have enough experts out there to be able to properly manage their storage. And then the efficiency of the tools and the policies, right? You know, there's plenty of reports or products that are out there that come with hardware, but again, hardware vendors want to sell you more hardware, right? That's the bottom line here. And the difference here is we're a software-only solution. We're going to go out there and tell you the truth. We're going to tell you what's out there, where you can save, reclaim space, and things like that. And I'll show you what happened with this one company. So they wanted to reduce their annual spend. They wanted to improve the utilization, of course. They were concerned about using too many CPU, MSU cycles, if you will, you know, and to increase the effectiveness of their team. And they were looking at Vantage because of our vendor neutrality and, again, the zip exploitation and everything that Vantage stands for. The differentiators for this company was for multi-vendor management, optimization of both of the DASD, the disk, and the tape resources that are out there, and the fact that they needed to fully utilize all of their media. And the results were based off of a storage assessment that we provided to this company. If you've never had this offered to you, it is a free assessment from CA. We can certainly put onto the CA communities, how to get that free assessment. But again, it just takes a little bit of your time. We go back and forth. We ask you some questions, might have you send some information to us, and then we come back with a report that basically says how you're doing and where are the areas that you need to look at. So for this particular company, the assessment uncovered this particular value, right? So they uncovered wasted storage. They discovered thousands of unused files. They pinpointed activities, migration recalls that consumed a ton of CPU that was out there. And the other opportunity here is that their manual reporting was reduced from months, even weeks, down to hours. So, they found up to 40% storage was over-allocated, right? They even put a little bit of monthly potential savings out there based on this customer, and it equated out to quite a significant potential annual savings there, about $5.3 million. And this was not only in reclaiming the storage, but of course it was on, being able to save on maintenance costs for other vendors' products, things like that. And the main thing here is the staff was much more productive. They were able to leverage their existing IT to better manage storage across the enterprise rather than having to go, okay, I need, a true expert. So they alleviated their fears of people leaving, of the attrition of the retiring workforce, if you will. Basically, the next steps for them, it gave them a very clear path. Basically, the first thing here was to reclaim the wasted storage, address the over-allocations, take a look at the retention policies again, and then, of course, for this company, since it was financials, to enforce the compliance, right? It was making sure that they retained their data for the right amount of time, making sure that it is safe from data breach, making sure that the right data is archived correctly and to the right people. So hopefully that'll give you a little bit about a little overview about what Vantage is. Again, this case study, you could find out how you're doing. Just ask us for the no-cost storage assessment. Enough of me. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to JB. And I'm going to, Len, can you give JD the ball?
Yeah.
Done. Thank you.
Sweet. All right, over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. This is JD Becnel. As Stefan was saying, I am in charge of the product management team for our mainframe IT operations area, to which storage is part of that. I want to thank everybody for their time this morning, and I appreciate getting you guys taking a few minutes out of your day to kind of listen to some of the new features we have in the technology. We did roll out Vantage 14.0 within the last couple of weeks. A lot of that focus was based on the incremental builds that we've been doing over the last 12 to 15 months, and really bringing that to a culmination of a release number so that we can continue on with some of the enhancements. So I'm going to highlight some of the key pieces that we wanted to bring to your attention to understand, where we are with certain pieces, but also the new things that are available in this release for you. And this kind of highlights the 5 things that I'm going to talk about specifically, and really I'm going to start with the new UI. So, as Stefan was talking about from a skills management capability, we all understand based on Vantage versions in the past of wanting to get to a browser-based user experience. We have a Windows client that's very well received, and I know used by a lot of people, specifically from an administration function, to be able to manage their storage resources, to be able to look across their complex of their storage and be able to see things no matter where they may sit. We have several global service providers that can see different things across different LPARs that makes them much more productive. as we move forward, we understand that from an investment perspective inside of CA, we need to more efficiently take advantage of the resources we have so that the things that we're building for other people, other products, other solutions that we have, can be taken advantage of by our solutions so that we're not recreating the wheel every time. So with that, we came out with this new version of the browser base. It is not utopia, I'm going to be honest about that. It does bring some very nice features to the forefront, and we will continue to build upon this architecture, specifically knowing that in the past some of our browser presentation layer before this had some issues around scalability, some things around usability, and we've really taken a refreshed approach by that. And understand that the investment we're making here is actually being consumed by other products. Some of our performance products internally will be utilizing the same interface, so that as we get into this specific issue around skills management and being asked to do more with less, we now can start to collaborate a little bit more easily amongst our teams to truly understand where the interdependencies are and how performance is affecting storage, or how storage is affecting performance in that type of area. So one of the things we're trying to approach and really present to you guys is the use cases that we're looking at here, specifically around what's the problem we're trying to solve and then how did we solve it. And really it focuses primarily, and you guys I'm sure are all familiar with this type of use case, where we are trying to resolve things quickly. We're trying to get and be able to set up custom dashboards for myself, things that I want to see as a viewer, as a storage manager, number one, maybe different than what storage manager number two wants to see. And really then also support, from an operations standpoint, people further up the chain that may not have as much productivity, or excuse me, as much experience as my subject matter experts, so that they can understand direction and really start to see where problems are occurring and going to the right people. Eliminating and going away from war rooms is our intent as we get further into our investments in this area, but really giving you a user experience that you're familiar with, but also allowing people up the chain to be able to see the information that you want them to see, specifically when it comes to alerting and those type of areas, so that they can actually pinpoint who they should speak to first on a specific problem if they need additional assistance. So really that is the perspective we're talking about with skills management. This is an investment that we're looking at, of course, from a mainframe market perspective, as I was saying, but also internally from the CA perspective of how do we make this easier for our customers to use, provide more intelligent feedback so I can make, educated decisions faster, and hopefully be able to take a vacation once in a while so that someone else can actually manage the environment and I don't have to worry about what's going on in the shop when I'm sitting with my toes in the sand. So the way we did that was really come out with a new user experience that is based around the browser base, that gives us the capability to set up what I was talking about, workflows, user experiences that are specific to me, the data that I want to see, and really be able to customize that interaction and be able to remediate from the specific these screens as well. So, though I can't do the administration functions here, I can definitely submit actions of things that I want to occur, whether it's generating an alert, maybe it's actually shutting down and restarting some resource, those type of things based on the security that I have access to inside the systems, inside the mainframe. This gives me the capability to see that information. Out of the box, there will be dashboards that automatically come with the system, so it gives some of the people that are not as much as subject matter experts some starting point. We'll also give you, as a subject matter expert, a starting point with the capability to customize that screen, so that when I come into an environment, I actually have the workspaces that I want to see, and the information that's available to me makes the most sense. This does give you the capability to start to tie into some of our other solutions inside of CA and be able to see other data. If you're so interested, things that may be affecting storage, whether it's network network information or things like that, we can start to bring that information into a single workflow and be able to analyze that type of information as well. So secondly, is really around DB2 spacing availability, and really around from an administration function is, determining specifically for DB2 databases if there's going to be enough space. As an expert, can I even look and understand what's going to be needed? What is that information? What is the information that's available? How do I actually allocate that information, or can I automate that? So the sooner I see things, the faster I can make decisions, but able to see that is not necessarily easy today. And really looking at how to essentially access that information and see it in a future state. So one of the things we've added is the index space occupancy, which really opens up new objects within the interface that allows me to be able to see that information in a proactive approach. So I can start to see trending of specific information around those specific tables, things that are starting to access those tables and see where that information stands. And it really goes back, if I slide back one, is being able to see how much space on the right-hand side, as you can see this little diagram on the lower right-hand side, is how much is actually available inside of that occupancy in the DB2 database for the occupancy area. And really understanding that information and hopefully being able to then proactively address any issues that we may have around storage that are specific to that DB2 instance. This helps with your availability, ensuring that critical applications aren't down based on some storage problem that's associated to the DB2 elements, and really helps reduce the MTTR. If we can proactively see things and be able to react to them, then hopefully I'm going to get to it before a problem actually occurs, or can remediate simply and quickly after that fact. We also added into this environment our EMX VM Support, as stated here, which really is allowing us to understand in working with EMC of whether we can assign specific devices to storage groups and what is automatically available to do and what can be done, or reassign that information. So the ability to manage this type of a hardware environment allows me as Sherman to actually take that information, be able to actually take it and look at it and be able to allocate as necessary based on capacity within that storage group, or whether it's there or it's physically not. So the ability to actually move those things are things that I cannot do today. So with the EMC capability, we now actually have the ability to anticipate those needs, allocate the storage automatically, and then reassign it to a thin pull as insufficient capacity is if there's insufficient capacity within a group. I'm getting tongue-tied this morning. I apologize. What that really works out to be is if I'm looking at a storage group for DB2 and they have a 20 gigabyte thin pool, the application or a new application comes up and defines that it requires additional storage, I now can have the alert generated by ZOS to let me know that the storage group has enough capacity, and then we'll actually get a message from EMC to tell us where there's things without that capacity. And then it allows me to actually make those decisions and, assign the data devices to the pools as necessary based on where my requirements are. If I hit my error button. If we look at this, it's really, in reassigning those, is we get a message script from the EMC. We submit a script, or a GOA script that will check where the problematic thin pool is. We'll add the data devices to the thin pool, and then we'll rebalance as necessary. So the support of this really gives the capability to automate some of that process that was not there before, and allow us to actually potentially eliminate any potential problems that you may have with a critical application, and ensuring that the appropriate resources are available in the area and then reassigned back to the areas that they were originally assigned to ensure that you go back to the state that is understood by the storage administrator to make sure they have a starting point that is the same the next day. Laborio, if you have anything to add, please feel free to speak up. From a software perspective, as we get into this, you know, we all would like a utopian world where CA is the vendor of choice for every product. We understand that that is not the case. We know that as our storage administrators are looking at other providers, whether it's a software provider or whether it's hardware provider, I want to be able to actually integrate and understand and get access to the necessary data that is in the environment. In this instance, the request was really around supporting of the BMC Control-M product and the tape information that was associated with that. Like we said, there are different software providers. We want to make sure that we can provide a solution that reaches across any of the storage products, whether it is hardware or software, and really give that storage administrator the access that's necessary to understand their environment and really create that unique view for everything. So what we've done is in our UI, we've actually opened up the objects for the BMC control tape objects inside of the user interface. This gives you the capability to submit actions on them, to be able to view them, but also just enables you to see that information and then open up, you know, availability of the access to that third-party product. Like I said, you know, we wish that we can provide products for everything, but we understand that we need to interact with the customer's needs so we can actually provide those access of information that's necessary to run the environment efficiently. So really the one thing that really is number one here in my mind that continues is one of the tenets that we have from a mainframe strategy is really mainframe economics. We understand that transaction flow in most instances is increasing. We understand that the cost of running the mainframe continues to climb as new transactions are, or as MIPS growth is being seen based on new transactions driving through the system. The explosion of that, of course, is from our mobile to mainframe environment as we order a new car or something online that garners 15 to 20 times number of transactions in the back end on the mainframe. So to be able to solicit that, we need to be able to help you guys manage the cost outlay of what you're actually incurring from running environments that are monitoring and management capabilities. And that really assists you guys in really trying to keep your total cost of ownership down, but still give you the monitoring and management capabilities, because as Stefan was referring to previously, you know, the ability to be able to save the amount of money that you're talking about by not adding additional hardware is complement to giving you the capability to be able to move things off the general processor as much as possible and retain a lower cost of run rate on your specific monitoring capabilities. With that, we've really enhanced our specialty processor utilization, specifically ZIP. You know, really moved as much code as legally possible by IBM's contract to the specialty processor. We've done some things with services and the way that we access data so that it can actually be enabled by ZIP. The whole basis here really is to reduce your MIPS, your core MIPS cost on the main CP and off on that ZIP specialty processor. We all know that there's still a cost associated with it, but IBM provides you a much lower price on that specialty processor. And you know, legally we can run a certain amount of things there, and we're pushing that to the very limit of what IBM allows us to do, and ultimately that passes down to you guys as a customer, giving you the capability to have better access on this. So our speed has picked up on this of how we read the data, but also just better utilization of that, and that just generates lower TCO for you guys as the customer. So, I mean, that was a quick overview of the top 5 things. You know, the DB2 capabilities and the ability to see and predict the available space within the occupancy tables. We have the EMC support, which is the hardware support for how we actually allocate resources based on the need at any point in time. Support of the third-party BMC at this element and giving you capability to see that information within the specific user interface, the zip and offload things I was just discussing, and then total cost of focus, and then, of course, the monetization of that. We continue to invest in this. As like I said, this was really an incremental release, getting us to version 14.0 that built upon everything we delivered over the last 15 months out to the field. We'll continue to do that as we look at our value streams internally and how we can deliver things faster and more efficiently to you is a constant consideration, specifically to support the economics of the platform that you guys are working on and skills that we know are necessarily not as easily replaceable, and how do we actually make you guys more efficient while removing those people, as people decide to go to other organizations or move on to that next chapter of their life where they can actually retire and move on to taking care of their grandchildren. With that, I'm at this point in time done. I'm going to hand it back to Stefan. Mr. Christian.
All right. Sounds good. That was a nice rapid tour through there. So a couple of slides as we start winding down here, and again, questions. Fill out the question. There's a Q&A icon at the very top. Go ahead and ask us those questions. So right now, what we are doing, and this, if you go to the storage community site, we're taking a survey. We're asking our customers of both our tape management system, the CA1 tape management, as well as the Vantage, to let us know what you think of the products. We cannot continue to develop this product without your input. Everything that you provide to us, your input, your suggestions, your comments, that goes into, you know, how can I say this, into our DNA, if you will. You know, we take your information, we share that within our product teams, and then, you know, that's how the next versions are discussed. So tell us what you think. It takes 3 minutes to do a survey. I went in there the other day just to see, you know, how long it would actually take, but it took me 3 minutes to do the survey, each survey, not for both. So you'll find the links at the communities for that. Also, one other thing I wanted to talk about is this was pretty much a high-level overview of what new functionality within the releases. But again, use the communities as a great place, that and the CA support online, to get more information about what's in this particular release. I don't know if you've heard about this. It's that wonderful time of year again. CA World 2016 is happening. We are running a very special event there. So at CA World 16, we're actually have created what we call a storage management boot camp. John Twigo, if you know anything about storage, you know John Twigo, outspoken, great guy, great presenter, very knowledgeable in the storage industry, is going to be presenting a boot camp on how well are you managing your data storage. And so that, not only is John going to be doing a couple of sessions there, he's also going to be talking about the economics of storage in our theater, as well as disaster recovery within one of the sessions. More sessions that are happening, you'll be able to talk about the roadmap that's happening here, as well as get your input into product management. We've got a nice little ideation session as well. It all starts on Monday the 14th. It's going to be at the Mandalay Bay. And again, there is activity for storage across all 4 days. So I encourage you to go to ca.com/CA World. Take a look at any of the mainframe area storage sessions. It'll say boot camp on there. And you can see all the great sessions that we have planned. I was talking earlier also about joining the communities. Very, very simple to do. Communities.ca.com. Look for mainframe storage. If you're not a member, there is no charge. Please join us. Here is where you can talk amongst your peers, your colleagues, the JD's staff, as an example. You know, here's where you can take your ideas and say, hey, what about this? You can even say, hey, I've got a question about this particular feature, or what's it take, you know, what am I doing wrong if you have a particular issue? So this is a great way of getting information across. Lots of good how-to videos here, and of course links into documents as well. And let's see, winding down, Q&A. Len, do we have any Q&A out there? I'm having difficulty clicking on the Q&A tab here.
I have not seen any. I've not seen any questions come in yet. Everybody, once again, if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature right in the WebEx. If you're not seeing the box in the lower right, in the upper right, there's a question mark icon that you can just click on and it will open. You could also use the chat box if that's easier for you. But at this point, I don't see any questions. But let's give everyone a minute or two to type anything that they want to ask.
All right.
And while they're doing that,
I've got a question for JD and for Laborio. And I know this is an iterative process of getting these releases out there, and we're always looking for validation sites and people to contribute. Is there any activity or meetings that are planned that are coming up where you're looking for ideas from our storage customers, or is it, like I said, like a continuum stream, and you're going out there looking at communities and, of course, you know, having discussions with customers? How best to get this information to you?
Well, I think, and you know, not to step on Laborio's toes, but the communities is a key element of that. It does not take away the face-to-face conversations we have with customers, visitations, calls. You know, so from a community's perspective, we're continually looking at ideas that are posted out there and validating them with other customers to ensure that the investment we're making is the smartest investment and efficient for our customers to use. We do have, on a recurring basis, also a validation process where we do sprint reviews, which is essentially a review. It's about an hour's time frame where Laborio and the team will go through the latest concepts of what we've actually been working on and start to provide demos to provide feedback at that point in time. It's key that we get feedback at that time so that we don't get to a release date and we deliver a that is of no value to anyone that's using the product. So it is a process that is continuous. And then from a sprint review, it's usually on either a 2-week or a monthly basis. They're all recorded. You don't have to be on every call, but usually they post a agenda prior to determine what's going to be discussed, and then Laborio and them will go through the process of here's the things that we've done, here's why we've done it, what do you think, is there something you'd want to see changed, just to ensure that the end product is a usable solution and not something that we as CA just determine is what we want to deliver.
Let me ask you this. I know that there's a big push within the mainframe community, CA development community, I should say, to go towards the Agile methodology. What about storage? Is storage already there in terms of Agile?
Yeah, well, and that was what I was leading to. The sprint reviews is an Agile process, so it's a continuous iteration of a cycle. It might be a 2-week or a 4-week cycle where we are planning what is going to be delivered, and then we iterate at the end to get feedback so we can continue development. And that is part of the key agile flexibility and development methodology that we've applied. And that gives us the capability to continuously get feedback, but also to ensure we can make a left turn if for some reason we're heading down the wrong path and our customers say, hold on a second, that's not the right approach.
All right. All right, that's good insight to have there. Hey, we do have a question from Eric that came in. Let me read it to you here, please. It's, in this release, is there an improvement in sorting the summary displays in trending graphs? Currently, it looks like an eye chart.
I will let Laborio reply to that
one. Well, we haven't had any improvements on the sorting technique, but I'm not sure, but maybe this will be solved by some new graphs in the new web UI. But I exactly don't know what details, what exactly is there a problem. I don't know if it's a problem of performance or if it's a problem on the looks of the graph, but I'm guessing that probably trying to do the same kind of graph in the new web UI will make a complete difference on how the graph looks like.
Maybe there's Laborio, maybe there's a way of being able to demonstrate this, not here, but able to demonstrate this either with a video or even simpler than that, maybe some screenshots that we can post on communities and send to Eric as well.
Yes, but I would like if Eric can contact me so we can go through the details of the question, because I really don't understand what he's trying to achieve. Maybe there is another better way how to achieve what to solve his problem.
This is Eric. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
I finally figured out my phone. It was hard to type the question in because, you know, when you do join trend data and you switch it over to the graph, the data points that are listed up above the graph are not in any kind of order, and you can't go back to the data, resort it, and then go back to the graph, and it's in that order. I've sent that out many times through our CA rep, Ron Lynn, and I posted it on the community site because it's hard to tell management to look at this chart if they can't figure out what the points are. Does that make sense?
So Laborio, yeah, I was going to say, Laborio, have you seen, or have you seen this type of a question out there on there? If not, probably have to hook up with Ron.
Yeah, I think I will do that. I will hook up with Ron and see together with him what is exactly the problem.
Yeah. Ron knows me pretty well, so he should remember what I've shown him in person several times, and he said it was a very good question. He's the one who pointed me to the communities to bring it up.
Yeah. So Eric, this is JD. I'll work with Ron and Laborio, and we'll get back to you with an answer specifically on that, and so we can give you the direction what's going on.
Okay.
Thanks for the question. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Len, anything else that came in?
I don't see anything else. Just so everyone on this call knows, though, we are recording this session, so I'll be posting the recording either later today or tomorrow. Right after this webcast, I'm actually taking my laptop downstairs to get it serviced. So there might be a slight delay in me getting it posted, but worst case.
This wouldn't happen if it was this wouldn't happen if it was a mainframe.
Well played, sir. But yeah, so if there aren't any other questions, I guess we can wrap up for the day. Stefan, Laborio, and JD, thank you very much for your time. This was a great session. I'm sure everyone appreciates the information. And to our attendees, thank you for your time, and we'll see you out in the communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good day.